And I'm happy to announce the names of the winners of all the tickets that we've given away on this show this morning. Judy Kaduman, Maria Simpson, come on down. Make sure and bring an ID. For the semifinals with Jima Edgel, come on down. Bring your ID right here at CBC. We have on the line, not calling for a ticket, but to speak with our lawyer, Suzanne. Good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for your
morning.
patience.
Good morning to the panel.
Good morning.
My query is, I was renting a house from 2006. I have a contract signed with one landlord. Then last year, around November, a gentleman states come and say that he is now the new landlord, but he cannot bring any proof or anything to me. The previous landlord is still saying he is the right owner and do not pay this man any money. But this new landlord now have put me in court, claiming that I owe him a raised rent from November. How could I go about dealing with this? Because I have my receipts and my contract from 2006.
You have a receipt and you have contracts, that's fine. But what you need to do where there's a dispute as to who is your landlord is to pay the money to neither one of the two. Pay it into a separate account so that the money is there, and when the court determines who your landlord really is, you can pay the monies over to them. But don't make the mistake of holding the money and spending it on something else. Make sure you're paying it into a separate account so that you can demonstrate to the court that you always intended to pay your rent, you just weren't sure who to pay it to.
So who does she need to go to, though? She needs to maybe start the action?
The matter already is before the court. One of the landlords has already, or potential landlords, has already moved against her for non-payment of rent.
Okay.
So the first thing he has to prove to the court is that he owns the property and has the right to rent it. So once he has made that for the court, then you would know for certain that this is the person to whom you are to be paying the rent, regardless of what is written on the lease. If it is that the first person did not have the right or was only acting as agent for this one, it will all come to light in the court proceedings.
Wow.
In a situation like this, though, if it turns out that the first person wasn't, in fact, the right person to be paying monies to, does she still get penalized? Does she still have to pay the arrears, as she says, even though she was paying it to somebody else?
From what I understood, it is only from November last year when he's claiming to be the new owner that he is claiming rent against her. That suggests
she has paid that, so would she have to pay those arrears?
If it is that she's paid it to someone else in good faith, then that person, the new landlord, will have to move against the person to whom she paid it.
Who received the money?
Yes.
Okay.
If it is that she's paying it out knowing full well that ownership has changed, well, then the court will go against her. But if she's been paying it of good faith to the person that she's accustomed paying it to, the court will not hold it against her, but may make an order against the other person.
All right, we'd like to invite Lester to the program. He's holding on the line. Good morning, Lester. You are live on the air.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'll ask a question.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Should I do it?
Go ahead.
Right. In the case you get put in court for it, right, and you have to pay extra amount of money for a child, and then it's like, you're supposed to pay about half of the school fees all the cases?
Yes.
So this is all school fees like every time?
If it is that the child is in a private school, then they will accrue every term.
Like how your secondary schools has got the study fees and then starter fees. The government secondary school.
It's been a while since I was at secondary school, but I seem to recall that petty fees are paid once a year.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has changed.
Once a year.
Right. Whenever it is that these expenses come up on presentation of a receipt, you're expected to pay half. And that is educational, dental, medical, ophthalmic, so long as they're outside of the usual day-to-day expenses, you're expected to pay half of the expenses.
And I'm thinking when these questions come up, if the question really is whether the parent who has control or custody of the child is questionable, then maybe there is a way that you can go directly and make payments. Is that not so? Because, I mean, if you were cohabitating and everything was normal, both parents would be responsible for whatever expenses the child had.
What usually happens, though, is that the parent who has care and control pays the entire bill up front and is looking for reimbursement, which is why it is on presentation of receipts that you pay over half.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we have a question from one of our Facebook friends. Marva is watching on her birthday, and she's talking about a discussion that speaks to the two issues that we get the most calls on, I think, family law and property law. And this one is about the division of property law, about a man who, now deceased, has not left a will and has children outside the marriage. Who gets what?
I'm assuming that his wife is still living and that he has children inside the marriage as well, but none of it really makes a difference. The Succession Act is probably the most comprehensive piece of legislation that we have in Barbados, and it is a mathematical formula. If it is that he has a spouse and he has children, the spouse gets and the children share. And when I say children, the legislation is very complete. It includes the children of the marriage, the children outside the marriage, stepchildren, adopted children. You just have to prove. Period. That's correct. That's correct. Those children are children. It is not their fault that they were on the other side of the bed, and they benefit equally with all the other children.
It speaks to our law, certainly understanding our culture.
Absolutely.
So we only have a couple of minutes left, but let's look at something as we go out that we were discussing this morning. You know, somebody fell over at Niagara, and Katrina was saying that, you know, you should put up signs and that sort of thing. As far as in the Caribbean goes, once you put up a sign, is that clears you?
No matter where you go, putting up a sign is definitive, but if it is the same story that I read, there was a rail that they climbed over, they waded out into the very cold water.
I am on your side though.
I don't think that, but I mean, in America it's different. You can sustain claims on very, very flimsy situations. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. But here, no, I don't think they'll succeed.
Well, have a good day, Villa. Have a good day, Barbados. I will see you on Monday.
Villa's dressed for it. She's wearing shoes for success.
Shoes for success. Thanks for watching. I won't be here tomorrow or Monday, but Colin and Cassandra will be here with you as always, God willing. Have a great day.